So Survivor.io was doing something like 1 million a day during
Yeah.
its launch, and then just like went
A
downhill.
little bit more because of the ad revenue.
50% ad revenue, right?
Yeah. So much more.
1.5.
And then IP wise, Archero 2 600 plus, Capybara Go 600, Archero 1 400, and Vital Defender is basically the one making the least regarding that. But one other thing that I wanted to show.
It's 4 a.m. and we're rolling the dice. Matei drops knowledge made of gold and ice. Felix with ads making those coins rise. Jack up designs, worlds chasing the sky. We're the 2.5 gamers, the midnight crew. Talking UA adverts and game design too. Matei, Felix, Shaka bringing the insight. We're rocking those vibes till the early daylight. Matei, UA, master eyes on the prize. Tracking data through the cyberspace skies. Felix stacks dollars like a wizard in disguise. Jacob's crafted realms lift us to the highs. 2.5 gamers talking smack. Slow hockey stick, got your back. Ads are beautiful, they light the way. Click it fast, don't delay.
You can still continue.
I'm joined by my two co-hosts today. I'm the only normal one. So Mati just flew in from the 1980s Miami, and Jakub just came from a job interview.
Yeah.
Hello, this is 2.5 gamers.
Yeah. Welcome everybody.
You said last time I only wear black, so there we go.
I mean, you feel a little bit from a different
Off?
world. Yeah, I mean, this is me always.
You
It's just-
telling me that?
I mean, man, like it's June, it's end of June, and I'm sitting under the roof. So this is gonna be the next 2 months, basically.
Okay,
Okay,
Mati,
Mr. Miami
you're
Vice.
known as Sweaty Betty, and Jakub
No.
is known as the Professor.
It's not about sweaty Betty. It's just here. It's outside. It's 35 degrees Celsius. Here in this room, it's 50, and I only have AC in the next room. So, and well, that's my problem. Anyway, welcome everybody. My name is Matija Lančarić.
I'm Felix Broberg.
Meu nome é Jakub Remer.
We
Are
Your hosts. Hey, there you go. Almost forgot. It's been a long time since we recorded, actually, because I was
It has
sailing
been.
in Croatia. Yeah, I was sailing in Croatia, and
No one
Jakub
cares,
was
so,
I know.
yeah.
Jakub was trying to find a job, and what's happened?
I was on the wedding, yes. No, wait.
How are you?
I'm on holiday in Mallorca, so everything is
go.
good, man.
Okay, perfect. And today we're going to talk about the newest happy game, which is Vital Defender. And Jakub is a very big fan of this game. Oh, even camera zooms in. Perfect.
Even though I turned it off.
I'm actually very curious because I got to chapter 6, and I'm wondering how you actually level up this game. Basically, how you're playing all the characters and how you're maxing out all the stats.
Chapter
See if-
6, come on, man. What was it? 20 minutes?
A bit longer, but
Maybe 30.
Maybe 25. Okay, numbers or game?
I mean, I
Game,
always
I
say
think.
game, but
yeah, start with game.
you always say numbers.
Okay, let's go game then.
But you can do actually both at the same time. You know how? You know how? Because where?
Go for it.
Because there's a new thing. He
I'm
says
waiting for the ambush ad.
No. There's there was no ambush ad. This is actually a new thing in the Sensor Tower, which is called FTUE, which is first time user experience tab. When you go to the actual game, and then there's first time user experience, first 20 minutes. It was basically recorded by Felix. It's definitely chapter 6. No, but it's very new, I think. So kudos to Sensor Tower to actually adding this. Chapter 4. There you go. So it was a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we have our own first time user experience and the end game user experience, Blazing Rift 52. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I played it for very, very long time. Pretty much stopped right after Uma Musume came out, so we'll cover that soon. But yeah, I think I was pretty much playing this hardcore as much as I could, spending all the energy and every pretty much thing that can be spent. Anyway, so let's do a little bit of let's say framing as always, because there's some very important changes in this game compared to the other games on Hubby's portfolio. and we are basically seeing another upgrade to their framework. The first upgrade to the framework that we saw was with Capybara Go Archer 2 when they implemented a lot of stuff from Legend of Mushroom, and that was a big leap pretty much with their monetization. Now what they're doing, their signature kind of progression layers that they usually go after, where here you would expect like you would have a character and he would have like 3 slots on the left, 3 slots on the right, and double of that within the same, Survivor Isle style or whatever everybody has. Like near every game from Archero till here has the same template. So they ditched it. So it's not there anymore. And what we have here is actually a squad-based RPG now, because we have 5 characters. And the whole setup is actually much more closer to something like Genshin or Hoyoverse template, because these guys have a lot of progression layers. Let's just go on like the basics. What's there? So there's a character. He has this rarity. You can see this is like legendary one. There's also not even mythic one. Legendary
Mythic.
are these yellow ones. There's rare ones. Whatever. These are not important. Cannon fodder. So we have a rarity of a character. His star rating is upgraded by consuming copies of himself, which again is very similar to like all the other gacha games, squad RPG ones. We have his level, where I think I can upgrade only this guy, but yeah, we can do that. It consumes this special currency called I don't know what blue thing.
It's
And
better.
then you see that upgrading his star rating, basically
Blue
consuming copies of himself, increases his skills because they are locked behind that star rating, which are either stat bonuses or some direct stuff that's like very, very awesome. Then we have his gear. This is the part that literally remained from their old template and was again a lot more refined, because gear has star rating. Gear itself can be upgraded and also refined, which is literally an enhancement mechanic. So if we go to a character that doesn't have that much enhanced gear here, for instance, so there's a chance, literally, and we failed. So we literally have like lineage style enhancement system, but not that merciless. It's a little bit more merciful, I would say, but we're still wasting another currency. There's a lot of bonuses here that you see if you cross certain paths, such as like Master Enhancer, Rarity Master, blah blah blah, which means like have all the gear on rare rarity, epic whatever rarity, all the refined stuff, yada yada yada. And then on top of it all, we already passed 3 progression levels. We have the rune system. And the rune system is basically like even bigger version of what Genshin Impact has regarding the itemization, because we have these runes. They have the main stat, they have the substats, and they have the sets. So you not only need to aim for the sets, you also need to aim for the perfect rolls on all of these stats. Where basically, if I go here and I would try to check, like I have like a lot of these. So for instance, this is a rare Divine Revival slot 1. I have like a
But
uncommon
we've seen
one.
this before.
This is Hoyoverse, like 101 version of like how do you have these enhancements? Because keep in mind that I'm not that far within the gear, but my guess is that, and as you upgrade this, you get unlock more and more stats. I think where's the
But this was also in some other game that we discussed, and I don't remember which.
whole Hoyoverse game has this.
But we didn't talk about the Hoyoverse games. But in other game, I played it as well. Let me check.
The one we played with John.
I wasn't. I
I
wasn't part of that. But let me check.
Pretty much every single big Asian RPG regarding that itemization system, this is it. Because you see here, for instance, here I unlock another stat, and then there's rolls with randomization as it grows in level. That, let's say, rolls another roll here to crit damage, could roll 1 to HP, and you literally chasing the perfect combination here, which adds giant amount of depth, like giant amount of depth. So we already passed that, and now we have also elemental system on top of this, because as you see these buttons on the bottom, we have ice, fire, lightning, wind, and then this like whatever master element that
I thought it said unemployed. I'm like, that's a hell of an element.
unemployed is a pretty strong element.
Yeah, that's a very strong element.
So there's this rainbow guy, because what changed also
Definitely unemployed
with their power progression layers is their gacha system. So gacha system is actually changing a little bit because we have the normal gacha system you can summon right here, where we have the normal set of characters that are kind of popping in. It's more of like shark system. So what happens here is that then you have these Xenoscape summons, which you unlock only after you summon 500 of these. It only unlocks after you summon 500 of these. And once you start getting these guys, you finally are able to get the two super whatever unemployed characters. The one that are currently in the mix is this whatever transformer guy, and then this chaos witch, which you can increase chance with wish whatever selection and blah blah blah. But basically it's like a one level higher gacha on top of it. And then of course on top of that there was another gacha here, but it ended actually today, which was the banner gacha with the character. Specifically it was this Sword Saint girl, which was again the normal gacha plus her, like we have in Genshin whatever. So what's happening here is that adding a lot more spend depth to it. It's just much more deeper, much more money absorbing, and much more customizable, I would say, and much more core, which could be one of the issues here when you look at the revenue. But yeah, we'll talk about that one.
What about the things that's locked behind the ads, the items?
Which items?
I think it's in the bag. Anyway,
Bag?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Which one?
Like these ones that you can get, you can get them from watching ads. All the items in your bag.
You can. Not all of them. Some of them. Because what happens here is now we still haven't talked about the core. This is still meta.
Yeah.
So
we have 50 more minutes. Don't worry. It's okay.
Don't
then
worry.
we can talk about something else.
Yeah. So we have this system which was there before during the Capybara Go Archer 2 setup as taken from Legend of Mushrooms. There's always this kind of I really love this, that like shitty reward for you to just go and click notifications to just see the offers. Lots and lots and lots of monetization. Actually, if you go here, or where was it? Not here. Yeah, here. I think there's like level funds as you progress, and there's like level fund 1, level fund 2, level fund 3, adventure fund 6, so on and so forth. So this goes pretty much forever. And they like battle pass the shit out of this, like Crusade Fund 4 I'm currently on. Like, yeah, it's very, very, very deep. The other thing is that they added the modes mechanic as usual.
Is that the web shop?
Which one?
Is that a web shop?
Yeah, I think the Fast Spring one.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because, the listeners, today's episode is brought to you by our sponsors, Fast Spring. Because Fast Spring has delivered D2C at scale for over 20 years, and they power top mobile publishers around the world. I guess Hubby has their own web shop, but if they haven't, maybe they're working with Fast Spring, and they should, because Fast Spring has no D2C, no drama D2C partner with real-world experience at scale is your partner you can trust with your players. So if you want to quickly launch a new web store, replace an existing D2C vendor, or add a redundant D2C vendor, go to fastspring.gg and tell them Five Gamers sent you. Fastspring.gg for all your web stores. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so no web store here yet, or no pop-ups, or
because they haven't called Fastspring or just went to fastspring.shop.
You already did your ambush ad. So as we continue this monetization bonanza, so there are the modes, same layer and same template and setup that we see in Capybara Go and Archero 2. So this is pretty much the stuff where each mode is situated a little bit differently regarding its requirements, what you need to bring, which, let's say, the gold-red mode is like killing hordes of enemies. Goblin round is killing one big goblin guy, which basically means you need single target damage for this one and area damage for the golden red one. Then we have the boar hunt, which is again some special modifiers, which again the incentives for you to change your lineup. Then we have the boss challenge.
How could you grind to 52 Blazing Rift? I mean, this is getting even more complex than Archero 2, basically. So, like, how the fuck?
How
What-
the fuck did I grind?
Yeah,
No, like
it's
it's just
too much work.
No, if you know
Oh,
what you're
come on.
doing, you can.
Yeah,
No, I
okay.
have it on second monitor. I do other stuff
Oh
behind
yeah,
this.
that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
true.
Okay, fair. Okay, fair.
But
fair
can
enough,
we-
fair
can we
enough.
see-
even better automated than the previous
Yeah,
one?
exactly. Yeah,
we-
it's better than Archer because you don't really need to move. So that's
At
why.
all.
Okay,
You just select
okay,
your
fair.
skills in the
Oh,
beginning.
Yeah,
See ya.
yeah. See you in
Can
30
we-
minutes. Okay.
Can we see the core?
Yeah, we'll get to the core. I'll finish the meta.
Coming
we have
soon.
the-
It
coming
says
soon.
it's coming
So
soon.
for instance, here we have the boss mode. You see, like the boss has weakness on ice, resist on fire, typical shit. So that's like nothing really to it. Then we have Abyss Crusade, which is these hammers, which is again a second gacha that I'll talk about. And then there's Runic Plains. This is the source of those artifacts from Genshin Impact style things, where you pretty much again chasing the specific ones because again specific set. The good thing is that actually what you need to do, you go to your heroes and there are already recommendations like which artifact they want to and which set would be the best suited for a hero, what stats. It's great because I don't need to fucking go online and check guides anymore.
Yeah.
That's like
No
amazing.
no guides.
Finally, why do I need to go always online? So that's great. Even so good. Yeah, so that was the modes there. Then there's this camp thing, which seems like a lot of stuff is still locked, but there are two main very important things, which is the treasure system, which is another power progression layer, because these are basically relics that are specifically designed either through specific types of damage or specific persons, like my demonic guy that I showed you, the fire guy. So he has now every 10 attacks, demon spawn, summon clone that casts Burning Slash, which is super strong. So this was also in the event. This is typical merge gacha that they're kind of known for, and so nothing really to it. It's done through this like quick fusing thing where our wizard guy fuses stuff automatically for us. We don't even need to think about it. It's pretty much like
Yeah, I was in Archer
mathematics.
too,
And
and
then
Capybara
when you want
as
to
well.
go higher, then it's more of a like you need different copies and so on and so forth. So that's there. Then there's talent system, which is another power progression layer. This is the typical one where you just go and you press a button and you get a random card, and then it
I mean,
increases
this
your
is really
stats.
annoying because I see it's so slow. I mean, I think you just one time when you see the animation, that's enough, and then you go and click and then just automatically get the
I think
fucking
later
talent.
in the future we'll have AIs that will play this for us. Just
I mean,
to
yeah, well,
enjoy
It's
the
so much
meta.
fun. It's so much fun playing the game when you don't really play the game. Oh my god, I can't wait.
Is
Seriously,
like
come on,
this
man.
is so much more complicated than, for example, like earlier Habby games. Like, are they moving away from the kind of hybrid? This
Man,
seems
the thing
way
is
more
that
hardcore.
more meta means more spend depth. You can't monetize on shitty hyper
Yeah,
casual
great.
gameplay of click here,
Yeah,
click
great.
there.
But then you kind of loses that like broad audience,
broad
and then just
appeal,
kind
yeah.
of
Accessibility. You
Yeah.
lose accessibility. That's the thing, and we'll talk about that. Let me just finish. So there's a guild hall system with guild bosses, pretty much the same thing. It's just like guild stuff. Then we have another gacha. Yeah, I know another gacha, which is the relic system that I showed you.
You're still here? Okay.
Yeah. So this is just another gacha, not only the characters, but pretty much like lots of gachas, lots of like this thing is just deep. Then there's some more stuff regarding the typical offers, and by the way, very very big amount of ad placements. I guess we'll talk about that one. And then there's the where is it?
Go back to the
Idle
shop. Go back to
idle
the shop,
mechanic.
Jakub.
Yeah.
My shop looks so different from your shop.
Which one? This one or which
Yeah.
one?
The main
This
shop.
one.
Yeah.
I knew where I saw
you don't have unlocked
the
these
runes.
That's the thing.
I know where I saw the runes. It was in Archer too. It was already there.
Yeah.
yeah.
The runes also Survivor IO. They have
So
like a lot of again what they're doing. They're just extending and upgrading their template and making it a little bit more complex and deeper. Yeah, quest systems, typical shit. Nothing really to it. Mail system, monster gallery, which is just like this kind of whatever Pokedex. And yeah, I think we finally at the end of the. By the way, skins also work very good because skins actually increase stats. That's also interesting. So this is the normal Sword Saint skin, and the one from the event actually gives you pretty big stat boost. So that's good.
yeah, so you actually want to play the event.
Yeah, because skins don't matter to RPG players, but if you put them stats, it's basically another kind of armor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Another progression slot.
Let's see the battle, please.
Yeah, let's go to battle. So let's go chapter 52, which I don't know if I get my ass kicked, but I don't remember now.
by the way, only 15 minutes, and we see the actual game.
I
That's
know.
how deep it is.
It's
That's
super
how deep it
the
is.
meta. So they did also a big overhaul on their skill randomizer. It's not anymore how it used to be with hobby games where you would have like weapons and then ammunition. You combine those and get some kind of whatever super ability or stuff like that. It's working a little bit differently, and I mean a little bit a lot, because you need to accommodate for the squad system of 5 characters.
Yeah.
So it's completely different, I would say. So what we would typically do is you need to even spawn your characters. So you first choose your characters. So let's take these two for instance. They start battling. Everything's automated on speed 1 or 2. Of course, we want 2. And they start battling, and again, we're doing nothing with our hands and just checking how we get more and more XP. And then the randomizer comes again. We're still choosing the characters because, again, in order to choose any skills, first we need the characters. So we can get our Optimus Prime guy. Then they continue killing things. You see how the waves are pretty much being counted down here on the left. Icons of the faces are the boss guys. Then a first skill comes in, but I don't want it now because I still want to get my guys out first because they're still sitting here in the middle. By the way, this whole gameplay style, as we seen this, is taken from the tower.
Tower, yes.
Which we
we
still
know.
haven't kicked ourselves to do a review on, but we'll definitely will. Which is an amazing game, but it's an idle tower defense. It works a little bit differently. It's not
Yeah,
the
but
randomizer. It's
I
literally
can actually play this game. I can't play tower.
yeah, tower is
was
very,
just
very
like-
complex. Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
what the.
It's streamlined the tower gameplay. It's
Yeah,
amazing,
yeah,
amazing
for
move.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so now we're at the skill selection. So how skill selection works in this game? Again, a little bit of an innovation. You have the main skills of these characters, like sword, will, justice, combo, strength, whatever, and they have these like 3 yellow stars, or pretty much 3 tiers. And once you reach the third tier, you can get the ultimate skill. But just let's say I'm going for the sword because she's very strong. So let me go and take her there. And after our next level, we'll get another combo and see there's nothing from the sword girl. And the thing is that with this setup, you can't really spread everything, because if you have like everybody on like few levels, you do shit. You need to have 1 or 2 strong characters and just invest everything into them. So what happens here, you need to reroll. And you need to reroll a lot. See, only on the second one we have the sword art, and now we're going to stage 2. What can happen that we could also get the sword art, but it won't be the one that's increasing the tier of the skill. It will be like just more sword art damage, more whatever. The icon will be the same, but it won't increase the skill. It's kind of a noob trap, but they have it in there. So we continue this way, and again, waves get a little bit more intense, more
Trap. I
characters.
fell for that.
Yeah.
I fell for that
Yeah.
a lot.
I know. Took me some time out there. Why this shit is not evolving? And like, yeah, you need these 3 dots. Yeah. So again, flame guy is also pretty good. But let's see if we can get the sword. No, we don't. So we pick the flame guy, which is still my strongest character anyway.
Yeah.
But sword girl's a little bit more, let's say, artistic with her stuff. And then
And now you're doomed because you don't
see,
have
here
the
is the
reroll.
flame guy. If I pick this, I won't increase the tier of flame guy's ability. I'll just increase its damage, which is a kind of a trap. So it's good if you know
Come
what
on,
you're
yeah.
doing, but not in this case. So we took the just like these 2 are pretty much just there to have, because characters can have synergies, and these 2 are there just to have synergy. So this guy at some point can spawn like a synergy flaming ability, and this guy's synergy wind ability. See, again, Guardian Sword is great, but it's not
Yeah, but you have
increasing our
flame
skill.
slash already.
Yeah.
So come on.
So we need to
Almost
pick flame
looks a
slash.
bit like a slot machine when you keep getting these, right?
I guess it's a little bit more slotty, and I think it kind of really improved the randomizer, because one of the bigger problems that I have with the randomizer in Survivor Archer and all these things, once you figure it out, you're selecting the same skills all over again.
Yeah, all over again. Yeah.
It's super boring. Here, because there's so many characters and you can play so many different things, and I think there's a lot of behind the scene play with weights. Whereas if I already select the character skill, his weight of like his occurrence in randomizer increases, so that's done very well. Now we're basically fucked. So we put this, even though we shouldn't, but okay. One increase our skill here. But still, by the way, we're still not even in the middle, by the way.
Yeah.
This takes a very long
Takes a
time. to
very
even
long
finish
time.
it, and we're running speed too. So now we're fucked again. Okay, maybe Flame Blade. the good thing about the randomizers, they were
There you
still
go.
there we go. And see, now it unlocks the skill, but it unlocks
still
it
need
in
to-
the randomizer. You need to select it.
You need to still select it, yes.
You
So
roll
it's
it.
like, yeah, you need to roll
The
that.
good thing is that they still are adhering to the good practice of the chess system, which means that within these randomized roguelites games, at some point chests start popping in, whereas it starts selecting only from the skills that you already have, which helps
After
you
each
finish
boss,
the build.
I think it's
Yeah,
after,
I think
after the boss.
and after some kind of milestones or whatever, if we are able even to survive the boss, because she's pretty tough. This is
You
stage
should be
52.
fine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Archer guy
I was
nearly
hoping
died.
one of your characters would die soon, so you
Yeah,
could show
he'll
that
die
amazing
soon.
ad placement. That's
No
really good.
worries. Yeah, they have very, very good outplacements. We'll get to that. See, so this is the chest, only taking the stuff that we have. There we go, sword. And it's not the one that we want.
It's not the one,
doesn't
yeah.
matter. Whatever, it will be good. It's one of those like nice to have. So we'll continue, and this pretty much goes on and on. And the good thing is that, as Felix mentioned, our characters. Oh, there we have chain ability. That's pretty good. One of our characters can die, and we won't die. So this is again a little bit of a step up, because in Survivor or whatever Archer, whatever other hobbies games,
Because you have only one.
You have one character.
you have one
yeah.
character. One character dies. There you go. So what happens if you have 5 characters? It means we can also resurrect 5 characters. Much more spend depth.
Yeah, so much more money.
Because yeah, I guess at some point this guy will die anyway. Because I'm
Which
not,
one?
Oh, the fire guy here,
Really?
the Archer. Yeah, he'll die on the next box
I see.
probably. So because all the other guys have some healing abilities or something like that, that's not good. But he is not. I'm just using him because I need to fill the slot. And this is shit.
Oh well, you should play a little bit better.
How? It's a
I know.
randomizer.
I know.
Yeah, there we go. See, this is a little bit off, but yeah, we want this because this is pretty good. This is actually a
Peace.
tank character.
Yeah, the peacekeeper.
The peacekeeper is a tank character actually. He heals and he
How come none of your characters are dying, Jakob, to show this beautiful ad placement?
because I'm
Yeah,
very good at
because-
this game.
Such a great
Yeah, but I think he'll die.
ego
finally.
boost as well. You should, yeah. Come on, die. Just die. Oh,
Not too
Jesus
good.
Christ.
Yeah, so Pig Boss dead. Another chest will come up and a little bit of a heal. There we go. Yeah, C5 skills. That's great. There we go. So
Wow.
your characters just grow stronger and stronger, and this kind of accelerates because the bosses are only at the second part of the whole run. Like they don't even come up later. These minions or whatever's coming up, this is just basically cannon fodder.
And when does it like become boring? Because this is already like the same thing all
Yeah.
over again.
That's
This
what
is
I wanted
same
to
thing
say as
all over
well.
again.
Yeah.
The thing is
Because
that
I'm not moving the character at all. There's like I'm just
no, you're
waiting.
just selecting stuff, and that's perfect for me because I'm doing other things during the meantime, like reading the
exactly, but
news or
still.
whatever. The mode that we selected is like a gating mode. So at some point we won't be able to beat the boss, and we'll
Sure.
just be stuck. And then
Yeah.
comes the alternative modes, which are much more themed and much different in their setup. I'll show you. So let me finish this one. Okay, she do whatever.
Can we just exit?
Oh, well,
No,
fine,
don't
boy,
worry.
man.
Don't worry.
We're
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It's just because this is exactly same as like
What-
the stage
yeah,
6, 7, 8. It's the same thing, just scaled numbers.
Yeah.
the
A
same
little bit different abilities, but yeah, it's pretty much the
Come
same.
on, man. Like
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Why is Habi abandoning it as mass market appeal? Like this is way more hardcore than
It's
like
not that abandoning mass market appeal.
Survivor
Keep
IO.
in mind, it unfolds, man. It unfolds. It's like not that unmass appeal. It unfolds very, very deep compared to other things. Like Survivor IO definitely wasn't that deep.
So you wouldn't
that
agree
we
with me
won.
saying that they're abandoned their mass market appeal, like Survivor IO
they're-
compared to this?
I think they're positioning themselves towards the market where, getting that big of a volume is now much harder, and rather squeezing more money from the people that they already
It
have.
doesn't really look like they're squeezing more money out of it.
I will get to it.
Just saying.
So it's a plan, not my theory, not the thing that's
Okay.
actually happening. Anyway, so this is the main mode as you see how it looks, and you pretty much go on this thing forever.
forever.
And then if we want to go a little bit more structured gameplay to, let's say, whatever the boss challenge. So what's happened here is that you see now we have 4 skills. And these modes works much more faster because what's happening here that we have, let's say, we are choosing 2 skills at the time. And these skills, okay, there we go. And these skills are shit hacked by RNG. Anyway, and now the game basically plays itself. I don't do
No
anything
way.
for the rest of
Yeah,
the game. So a lot
exactly.
of modes are much more faster, and it's a lot of again strategy, and you position characters before the game. As for like going for a build or combination, like see, I was fishing for that whatever flame blade or something
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
unlocked, and I just couldn't get it. But yeah, whatever.
Can someone give me a reality check here? Like, I don't think this is going to do better than Survivor IO.
No.
I think it's not. Man, what I just said doesn't mean it's better. I'm just saying what's happening. Like why
Yeah,
you're
okay.
taking all these
Yeah,
systems
okay.
and depth.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't mean that like this is better or
I'd
this
love to
is
hear your opinion on that.
commercially
Because
better product as for we'll be able to achieve higher revenue. I think they're maybe fishing for a different audience or different setup of the market, but or maybe they're just like how much we can push this regarding their template. I don't know. We'll see, but it's definitely not that mass market as Survivor.
it's still made by Guerrilla, right? It's Guerrilla and Hobby together. Okay, yeah.
The Hobby Prime Studio.
Okay.
Yeah, so see, now we have the thing. Wait. You
There
can
you go.
revive the characters. So you can revive the characters by watching an ad once, and then you still have this revive water, which is literally a consumable sold for hard currency
Money.
that you can, and you can.
And if you don't have the revival water, it's an IAP right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's
It's
perfect.
done very, very, very well. Like,
99 cents.
guys know
Boom.
perfectly what they're doing. Yeah, and this could go on for 20 minutes, but again, my
Jesus
characters
Christ.
aren't just that strong. They
Yes,
just
please
gonna be,
die.
obliterated in 2 minutes anyway. But I can still revive some of those if I want.
Yeah, please
but-
don't. Please don't.
Let them die, please.
Let them die. Yeah, let them die.
The girl's good. No, this is Swordmaster guy. Oh, this is shit. Oh, this is
Ah,
like-
don't worry.
this
Yeah,
is a
okay.
bit
At
more-
least Snaker, you could move around.
I don't know.
mean,
This
you
is
can move
automated.
around
It's
in
as
Archer too,
automated
but
as
it's
it
like-
is.
Yeah,
Like,
it's,
that's why I
it's the
like it so
evolution of
much.
Capybara.
This
Go.
was a hint. Man. This is
I know.
as automated as Capybara Go is like
You had to
super
click.
engaging game.
Compared to this, absolutely. But it's like it's kind of built on top of Capybara Go rather than just everything else.
Yeah.
In terms of the
Exactly.
automation of the gameplay.
If we go to these other ones, I think they even have this mode now. It was with the new update that you have like select one hero to break through. So they even speed it up because I can break through, let's say this guy, it automatically gets his ability to top. So I don't even need to now fish for his whatever flame blade thing, which I still can, by the way. But it's not here. Yeah, there we go. This one. But see, he's already unlocked the Hellblade. This was last update, by the way. So what this means that automating it even faster now with the last update. So it's there. Yeah, we'll skip this. Yeah. So I think that was most of it. Like, some of these modes work a little bit differently, but as much as I said,
Yeah.
small variations with like skill selection, the beginning, boss objectives, or whatever, something like that. Yeah, and this is pretty much the game. There's star challenges. Also, this got automated because I had to like do it myself and click it and yada yada yada. At some point, they did an update last week where if you're just too strong for this, you can just like instant pass.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
they
which
know
is
again,
great,
like
yeah.
people
Yeah,
were
yeah.
annoyed by grinding it because it's just overwhelmingly stronger and like So they're automating the shit out of this thing. It's just like more and
Yeah, I
more
mean-
and more automated. So let's get to the numbers, which don't look so good. Regarding the main game, let me just go a little bit more zoomed out here. Currently doing something like 300K per day.
IIP. I would
IP
say more.
only. Yeah, Felix.
And
can
there's a lot of
correct me
China.
there. Yeah, there's a lot of China. Taiwan is currently in the lead with like 28%, China 20%, South Korea 14%, Hong Kong 12%, US 8%. So it's like
I mean, what would you expect?
so you're basically looking like hardcore Asia RPG. like Genshin style game. And then regarding
Look at
download
downloads.
side,
It's not that. It's
yeah, China was actually in the lead, and it's something like 40K per day. Again, not that big, and again, Asian countries are winning here.
yeah, because rumor on the street is that it's not. They're not pushing it that much in terms of
Yeah.
the downloads and marketing spent yet.
And maybe it was that the same thing that they did with Capybara and Archer, with this like
Yeah, just
Asian
push.
soft launch, Asian global launch, or whatever. How do you call it?
Yeah, just push, and now we
Yeah.
wait a little bit longer, and then we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
you know,
So I was looking at some previous games to just like get a cross comparison of what's happening here. So during its initial month or whatever its peak, Survivor
initially,
IO.
I mean, this is a year, 628 days.
I know,
after
but I
launch.
wanted to align it by like a plunge.
Yeah,
And
sure, okay.
this is as best that
Yeah,
we
okay.
get here. Anyway, so Survivor IO was doing something like 1 million a day
Yeah,
during
yeah,
this
yeah.
launch, and then just like went
A little
downhill.
bit more because of the ad revenue.
50%
yeah.
ad revenue, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, so much
One and
more.
a half.
And then IP wise, Archero 2 600 plus, Capybara Go 600, Archero
Yeah.
1 400, and Vital Defender is basically the one making the least regarding that. But one other thing that I wanted to show again.
Of course, you need to stack.
Mm-hmm.
You always stack.
Beautiful stack.
Yeah, so this is the big difference we were talking about.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
still have
exactly.
big, like the Asian 5 or whatever, the usual culprits. But
Asian
US
5
is
is that the new boy band?
Asian
Fucking
5,
Asian 5.
China, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and what was it? Hong Kong, or who's there? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Hong Kong.
US is 23% of revenue overall, and US is still on top of the
Yeah,
top
even now.
grossing country for Survivor IO. If we do the same exercise for Archero
And there's
and
Archero 1.
Archero 2,
Archer
which
2
will
is
take
doing-
some time.
It's doing nice revenue.
Yeah, still doing very good revenue.
Well, Archer 2, I'm saying.
So
Do you,
Archero 1, 30% US overall revenue, still doing the top US revenue. And Archero 2, if it loads, is 26% US revenue. And then comes the Asian 5. So, yeah, this is a little bit different. If we compare this now to, if we want to continue this exercise, to Capybara Go,
we get it. Maybe they lost their UA financing partner.
I think so as well. Yeah, I heard that they're trying to find someone to help them with financing the UA. And today's episode is brought to you also by our other sponsor, which is PVX Partners, which is the simplest and most effective credit line for marketing. So if you're scaling your game or business and you need funding, PVX Partners is here for you. No equity dilution. You can repay as you get paid. It's flexible, fast, and fully tailored for your growth. So you can secure the funding within 30 days. So, don't wait. Take control of your UA budget without giving away a piece of your company. pvxpartners.com and see how can they help you with your game and growth. pvxpartners.com. Share 2.5 Gamers sent you because we love talking about growth and you need to grow your game always. pvxpartners.com.
you there?
Dare I say that
let me
Habi is
finish.
moving away from like what they're doing, like from
so
their
let me
core.
finish this. So
Yeah.
Archero 2 and Capybara Go both went through the setup, as I said, Asian global launch first. You see like this US whatever violet, or how do you call the color, is missing here in the beginning in both cases, but actually later down the line it prevails. That's the important message here, that you see that in the beginning it was not launched there, but then it takes the major share of revenue, which is not happening
in here. Yeah, no,
the
here.
Whittle Defender, because it's in the US and US is doing 8%, which is again under big Asian 4 this case. Japan's not there. So what this means, maybe they just went to core, or maybe they deliberately went to core and said like, fuck it, we're gonna do a different game. or I don't know, because their template now compared to Archer 1 template and Whittle Defender template are basically two different templates. I mean, like the feature set and the coreness of it went so deep that maybe they lost a lot of accessibility of those first initial version of the templates. So we'll
Plus,
see
they
where
started
this
pushing
happens.
away ads. Like they're nowhere near as prevalent as they were on Survivor.io, for example. And Habi was known for being probably one of the first hybrid companies that kicked off this whole hybrid 50-50 monetization era. This is nowhere near 50-50, like monetization IAP ads, right? They're so pushed to the side.
Yeah, super hardcore. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
go, Felix. Let's do the ads.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
even
That's
if
it.
you,
Thank you very much.
yeah,
No
no, but
worries,
the
just
thing is
40
that
minutes.
the main thing, right? It's like there's not that many users, right? So even if I said that this game has 15 imp DAO on 65% of the user base for rewarded ads, it's still not
Doesn't
even
matter.
going to push the 50%, right? Like this is anywhere between 20 to maybe 24% ad revenue, because the ad placements that you can really stack, they're hidden really well, and it takes a while to find them, right? To buy stamina in the store, and then the main one is actually capped, which is the revive one, which is 1 per run instead of the normal Habi 2 rewarded ads per run, right? So here it's just ads have been completely pushed aside, and this kind of also brings
They are
me
moving
to
away from ads like completely
they are, right?
anyway, right? Since
And I'm
Survivor,
just like,
It's
IO.
very
what's the
core.
point?
They
Yeah,
won't
it's
have
very
the
core.
audience for the ads.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, I'm just wondering, like, are they just switching business model, or are they gearing up for something else, or
Do
like,
you know-
what's going on here?
Do you remember like how even John, when we talked about the hybrid casual model, like how it's just a stepping stone towards either casual or midcore or hardcore in this case?
So
Yeah.
Habi's making Forex next.
I don't think it's gonna go that far, but yeah.
I don't think so. And although, I mean, they could. Most probably they could.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, this is going definitely too core. Like too core for their like usual setup of like very addressable market, very addressable audience, TikTokable, Survivor.io, whatever stuff that you have there. And
Yeah, I mean, there is.
even Capybara goes a little bit more casual, basically.
Yeah, but I mean,
This
the
game would
combination
never
of the
have.
Capybara.
This game would never have interstitials. They're done. Like they're gone.
Yeah, but any other game with even Survivor.io wouldn't have interstitials.
I had interstitials after a run if you didn't watch a rewarded ad.
Interstitial, really?
Interstitials?
No.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure they did.
No
I'll
way,
have to go back
man.
and check our episode.
No, yeah, you should go back. It's like
In the episode is not there. So if something new happened, or like they hired you,
man,
or
like,
I don't know what, then probably no.
You don't try this
shit
on us. I mean, yeah, no. It's like in this group, it's
all right.
no
Anyway, $19,000 a day to 24 max
to the 300.
Yeah, so anywhere between like
5 to 10.
Yeah, exactly. That 19% maximum, maybe 22, but not more.
19% 60k, man, off of that. Or sorry, switched it. Yeah, a little bit less.
Yeah.
The total daily is 101,000 with the ads, right? Yeah.
Total
It's
daily
2.5 million monthly IAP, right? 20k per day on ad revenue is 605,000 per month, which is 7.2 million a year. So 20% ad revenue based.
8k per day IAP.
Yeah.
I must have put a geo wrong then.
Yeah, it's like, come on, like your Excel sheet is letting you down, Mr. Felix.
Where's the decimals?
Where are the fucking decimals?
Mm.
Yeah, it's like 20% out of 30k is definitely 60. So there is definitely a mistake. Even.
Yeah. Let's give Mate a little bit. Let's move to Mate and give a little bit breathing room so Felix can correct his ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And Mate moves us to the UA.
And don't be like this. It's no ChatGPT. So you can actually leave the screen out and I can share. Maybe. Because even though, I mean, It didn't say when this was released, so it was what, June 9 or
June 9.
yeah 6, 9, whatever. And even when you said it's not TikTokable, which I still believe it's not as TikTokable as the other games, or maybe Capybara Go.
Survivor IO concept is being used by pretty much every game.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole spinning blades thing, whatever stuff.
Yeah, well, of course, that's definitely used by everything. But this was launched a month ago, which
I stand corrected. I was missing the China revenue, so it's actually 11% on revenue, exactly like what Remo said.
Okay, there we go. Good.
Yeah, so I mean, this is definitely not. I mean, look, it's side plays, gameplay, not even gameplay, just stages and the characters. I mean, and this was launched June 6th on TikTok. So there is some TikTok activity, but here you can see
launching on TikTok doesn't make it TikTokable.
No, of course. I mean, sure, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. But you see, 1,000 pages of
1,000 pages. I know on TikTok only.
No, it's everything. But
Everywhere.
they look. I mean, you're pretty familiar with all of this.
Yeah, of course.
Which is basically, I mean, they took Survivor IO, but it's just you're standing in the middle and everybody's just coming at you.
This is in the game. The two previous were, I think, not. This is
Doesn't
also in the game. Well, I haven't seen the laser. Yeah, of course.
It doesn't really matter. It's just mass battles, basically, one against the horde, and it's just everywhere. Same thing all over again. All they do have the top heroes kind of.
Yeah, it's top heroes color scheme.
Yeah, and also like this exactly.
Does she also carry the log?
I
don't think so.
No. Just goes next to the log and then just buys the
that is top heroes.
Yeah, it's absolute top heroes, man. Like I could see it from miles. And that's we have that, and it's like their iOS Today tab. I mean, they used the Archer too.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good actually. And then
because you don't show TikTok, how deep the game is.
TikTok Business Creative. So they also use this on TikTok, which is kind of faking the Today's tab on iOS featuring, and they just used it in here, which is great because they used also the same thing with Archero, just with the notes. Mm-hmm. So they had the Today's featuring, and then there was a note in the iOS notepad, and then just come a few bullet points. But this also coming from Archero. It's the same thing as Archero.
Mm-hmm.
Leveling up 1 week, which is like basically the progression. Yeah, exactly. And this, which is officially launching in some hours, right? TikTok again. So we have all of these. You see, you've seen this with Archer too, which is the.
This is like tree. An old version of a build of the game.
Could be because it's June. It's before. I think this was run in the soft launch basically, but let's see. I would want to say like they're running a lot of Facebook, Google, and TikTok, and then a little bit of Uplovin here. But if we go to actual, let's say,
why is Uplovin not more dominant there?
Honestly, it's never that dominant in any of the Chinese developers. It's always Facebook and Google for some reason, and then everything else. You see, like it's mainly TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook.
Because it doesn't work that well in the East. Or
I don't think it does not work on the East, but it's just also you remember how Facebook works in China, where you get the kickback, and
also quicker payout schedules, right, on TikTok.
And then let's see what we have here. I'm gonna also, it's the same thing. I mean, they're using basically the same thing all over again in their creatives,
memes.
Which is and memes, of course.
They have a cat assassin character.
So slow. It's so slow. Come on, like this should be really, really. Even it's like the early game, it should be way, way faster. I mean, everything else just super fast paced, and like, come on, I already died. I already want to check something else. But this is just kind of overall, and also like this is interesting, which is absolute
Rush Royale. There we go. Yeah, this is 1-to-1 Rush Royale.
Yes, absolutely. Or just lucky defense,
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, and also like kind of combinations. In the last week, it's only 500 creatives. No, 500 pages.
Have you seen
500 pages.
any big AI hooks?
No, not
Oh,
really.
okay, so it's mostly either fake gameplay, normal gameplay, and UGC.
I feel like this guy wants to sell me a pack of Red Bull or Monster.
Yeah. And look, if we go new creatives only, it's not going to be that different. Yeah. It's a lot of different static images, which is good because you need to use them in the mix. Again, come on, I don't really get this. So why don't you make a game and then use these type of ads? And he's like, I can understand the altered gameplay in the different creatives, but not this really.
What do you mean?
But you're speaking for the Western market, right? And this game is not big in the West at all.
True.
But
I mean,
what was the
is
question
this a
again?
representation of the game at all? No.
No.
I mean, this is as fake as it can get.
Yeah. So
But yeah, like I don't get it because you can pretty much use all the different variations of the mass battles and all the survivor IO types of gameplay, and not these. Like these always had like the highest CPIs, the Rush Royales and all the games that I managed to push Rush Royale clones, super high CPI. As long as you stick to this kind of gameplay, it was really high CPI. So why the fuck would you care? That's what I
because you
don't.
have a defense game and you want tower defense people, which is Rush
Fair
Royale
enough.
people.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's check actual US only lately, which is exactly the same. A lot of static images on YouTube, even on YouTube, which is terrible. And the bumper ads, which is 6% bumper ad. Okay, thank you very much. Again. And let's go to check the uplavin as well. And this is just like the how Chinese developers work.
I'd rather play this game than Will Defender.
A second, I need to.
Basically, like
You know what is this?
Raptor Call of the Shadows.
I mean,
Yeah, side-scrolling shooter, basically.
yeah,
Galaga, or how do you call it?
yeah, well, yeah, whatever. It's like, which is actually fine. At least it's better than the stuff that I saw
But
before.
these things can monetize, man, Felix. That's the problem. Like you said,
Look.
like you would rather play that, but it's great that you play that, but go play whatever.
I think I'm just disappointed because I haven't liked any heavy games since Survivor IO.
Oh, yeah, fair
Because
enough.
they went super big on that.
And this is
They were.
This is
Yeah,
the
I
playable.
know. That's why.
This is a playable. So this is actual representation of the game. Fine. That's the only. Yeah, that's it.
How is this a playable?
Oh, well, they're playing, and then when I need to choose the skill,
clickable.
yeah, yeah, overpowered. Let's see. Okay, so click here.
It's a streamlined version of the game.
Yeah, and I chose something else, which is
You fail.
I'm dead. Yeah, thank you very much. So I don't know. So I do believe that the rumor on the street that they are not putting a lot of effort into this. Well, not meaning a lot of effort, but like kind of marketing spent.
Keep in mind that they also have pretty big DAU of players already in those other 4 games. Like they're kind of.
Which means they
say-
don't really need to push this one, or what?
No. I'm just saying that same thing with HoYoverse guys. They're like pushing the kind of very similar games on the same market, which means it's hitting diminishing returns.
Oh, wait, so okay, fair enough. So
Maybe they could
wouldn't-
launch some
They're
CTV.
like, how many more Candy Crushes can you make?
Yeah, not that much. I mean, I heard what Felix is saying. Maybe if they run actually a CTV campaign with Vibe, that could be an interesting spike to the users because CTV ads were complicated before, but now it's for everybody. It's not it's not anymore. You need to spend a lot of $1 million budgets. With Vibe, you can launch CTV ads on any network, you name it, in minutes. It's that simple, totally self-serve, and it actually drives real business. So go and check out Vibe.co, because you can drive measurable growth with the most intuitive streaming TV ad platform, which is Vibe.co. Thank you, Felix, for the mention, because Vibe can definitely help. And but this definitely needs to be a different creative, because that wouldn't work on CTV.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have, I think, pretty nice cinematic during the intro or start of the game.
Yeah.
That's like a pixel style quality. Yeah, what I'm saying is that similar to HoYoverse, it's very related to each other, like the game types, all are roguelite RPGs basically. And how many more Archeros the market can support, even if it would be the best thing since bread. So what I think should happen is something that Century is doing, which is pretty much going into completely different genres and throwing their know-how on top of it. Like as having top Forex games, now they're going match 3. They're going.
Look, you want
whatever.
talking about Forex?
There we go. But you get my point here. What I'm saying, that like, and this is the big disadvantage of their template, that they can churn out these games very fast and very quick, but they can churn out only these games.
Sure, but you can play 5 Candy Crushes. You can play only one of these games.
But still, 5 Candy Crushes already didn't make it.
They're making way more money than all of these together.
Yeah,
only
it's
one.
not
So
for
come
casual,
on, man.
and
yeah,
like,
exactly. That's the point. And also, these creatives don't really help to drive the CPI down that much.
Didn't Habi invest in some studio recently?
Yeah, they just did their investment in a studio in Turkey.
Okay, so they're doing also.
Is that a hardcore studio or a like casual studio? What kind of studio was it? Because that would kind of signal where they're going, right?
Be a hardcore RPG studio in Turkey.
In Turkey.
So maybe my strategy or whatever I just said is already happening. It's just kind of we're just seeing the first seeds of it.
Yeah.
And it's such great stuff from Habi. So hi guys, if
That's
you're
good.
running the Vital Defender, which is fine, which is exactly the same thing that you run, then just change the fucking end card. It's just come on, guys! Like you just this is just lazy. This is just lazy.
Yeah. So the studio's called Mavis Games, and it was invested by Habi for $2 million. And the studio is founded in 2018. Has previously collaborated with Habi and has released titles including Easy to Learn and Slide Block Puzzle. So
okay,
it's
so there you
exactly
go.
Puzzle.
Yes, exactly. It's coming for Turkey, man. Like what they're doing, like hardcore RPGs. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, this is probably one of that vertical that they're trying to diversify into
everybody
different
from
genres.
China.
Yeah, everybody from China, because they're like, RPG market is so fucking cutthroat now that like everybody's, eating each other's lunch basically.
Oh, there's not that many new RPG games anyway. At least these look a little bit better. But again, like TikTok, come on, guys! Like it's good, and I'm pretty sure it's working well for this game, even with these creatives. But for TikTok, you need way more faces in all of these creative challenge videos. I mean, that's what has been working for me. And maybe they're testing creatives on TikTok and then they're moving it everywhere else afterwards, because all of these new creatives on TikTok is pretty interesting.
Yeah, with its new investment, the studio now wants to push the boundaries of what's possible in the casual game space. So they're definitely going for a puzzler.
Again,
I think
of course
they saw what Rolig is doing and they're like, we're going to do this.
Yeah, it's like, hey, guys.
And we're going to hire Turks for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Turks make it work.
That's the easiest way how to do things. Like just kind of, you just buy.
Yes, I think like it's great strategy. Like honestly.
Yeah, no one's going to Helsinki anymore to buy companies. Let's just say that.
Yes.
I mean, why is this not live on TikTok and it's live on Facebook instead? I mean, I don't get it. Yeah. All right. Exactly. I mean, this is all good for TikTok. Instead, like I'm pretty sure, like it's
Oh wow, that's nice.
yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, it's nice.
CGI. No, this is CGI, man.
No, this is CGI. This is not AI.
CGI. This is not.
Maybe
the image is in the background.
Yeah, maybe the
that's
background's in
definitely
there.
AI.
Oh man. Okay, one more, and then we are done. Then we are done. Again, super slow, guys. Like this should be where. Maybe just waiting for another update because also they update the Archer 2 and then they start scaling again way more. So maybe this is gonna happen with this game as well.
Enough creatives. Like,
yeah, no, enough.
No, need
Enough.
more AI creatives.
Yeah, of course.
Like the game's great. Like in my opinion.
Of course, because you can play it on the second monitor, you don't really need to move fingers. You don't really need to do anything.
I don't like it at all. But yeah.
Good.
There we go.
Easy. Thank you very much for listening and bearing with us until the very end. Well, maybe we'll meet with Hubby at China Joy, and I hope we will. And I hope they won't spit in our faces after this episode.
They're
Maybe
doing
they
great.
will.
Like I said,
Yeah, they're good.
the Turka investment is a really good strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you again for coming. Join our Slack channel and also please share this video on your LinkedIn page or wherever, whatever kind of social network are you at, and comment because we're getting so many amazing and super nice comments from you guys. Especially me. We really appreciate it, and especially me.
He really appreciates.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
We too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Not for me though, but again, thank you.
For us, definitely is.
Yeah, of course. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.